another video. In this video, I'm going to discuss the rescission of the Social Security number. Now, some quick background information. You probably will go and you can hunt the internet and find some other individuals who have conducted webinars on rescinding the Social Security number. And I caught some flack because I made a video out of it. And the only reason I made a video, just like I did the one about the passport, is because somebody else did it and didn't get credit for it. This document was written in 2002. Okay, that's why I'm showing you this. I'm going to show you directly from the document. One Man Out is a book that was written by a man named Aaron Coates, and it is not a book. It is just a collection of all the documents that he filed to get out of prison. Okay, very well researched, very well researched. It was a staple in my research when I first learned how to do all of this stuff. This was one of the books that I kind of went through and looked at a lot. Did a lot of reading, a lot of comparing and contrasting with other processes, you know, juxtaposing a lot of different documents with one another, and then coming to a consensus that, yeah, about all these processes are the same with subtle differences and so forth. But in this right here, we're going to look at a section. One part of his process was contacting the IRS and the Social Security Administration and put them on notice that he had a claim against all of his property. He had a pre-existing claim, and that they needed to return all the property to him, and that he no longer was desirous of participating in their system. And now we're going to take a look at this and see just what he did. So I'm going to go straight over to that. You see, usually one forms and things of that nature, and all his documents he filed, until we get right here. The Social Security Administration, Commissioner of the Social Security, in regards to the original application. So this is his cover letter. Now, what I want to say to you also, use this as a guide in creating your own documents. Before you write a document, you should understand it completely. There should not be one word in the document that you haven't looked up and you don't know the definition of. Okay? If you will just stop and look up the definition of words, it'll go a long way toward helping your understanding of the information. Just simply take the time to stop, open up a dictionary, and look up the words. So let's look at this. Notice, attention, Commissioner and all parties concerned. This notice and request is in regards to the original application of Social Security card/tax identification account number, and then that's going to be your Social Security number right here in dashes right here. Hereinafter, taxpayer identification number. Please forward me the original application for the administration and issuance of the aforementioned taxpayer identification number. The Social Security account/taxpayer identification number has been accepted for value and is the sole property of, and it's going to have your name with the semicolon and your last name. Sui juris, tax identification number, and then once again your Social Security number with dashes, has been filed with the Department of Licensing, Commercial Registry, State of, and then you're going to put your state right here. Okay, and the Secretary of State. Now, in every state, UCC-1 filings are conducted differently. In some states, it's done with the Secretary of State, the Secretary of State. In Georgia, for instance, it's done on the county levels at all the county courthouses. It's not done at the Secretary of State. So you have some differences. And so, of course, you would tailor your particular correspondence so it is in harmony with however those filings are conducted in your particular state. A security agreement exists between these parties and the application of the card in all records, files, accounts, debentures, and indentures therefrom is collateral therein. Note, the secured party, not being of age to contract at the time of the application of the tax identification number, hereby declares void said contract, and hereby requests that all records, files, accounts, fixtures, debentures, and indentures derived therefrom are to be released to the secured party immediately. Okay, so right here you're asking them or demanding from them that they forward all the information that they have in their records to you, because it's your property. You're saying it's your property, and you're going to give them an opportunity to rebut that. If it's not my property, then present evidence to the contrary of that particular fact. So it goes on, it says, as a sovereign and inhabitant of the republic, the secured party is tax exempt. Okay, and that's what makes you tax exempt, because as a sovereign and an inhabitant, not a resident, okay, that means you're on the private side. Tax law is public law. Okay, so there aren't any taxes on the private side as it relates to rights. You can only tax benefits and privileges. So the secured party is tax exempt and exempt from levy, and any further operation and or use of the tax identification number under the trade name, and that's your name in all capital letters, is an infringement upon the exclusive inalienable rights of private domain, a secured party, and trade name infringement. Any and all records, files, and or account balances are to be sent to the geographical location provided, which is going to be the address. They can call it address, call it geographical location. See, these are like little tidbits of information you can get, language that you can incorporate in your own correspondence. I expect a courteous and immediate response releasing my private property. Notice he keeps referencing it as private property. Please be timely in regard to Regulation Z grace period of the Federal Truth in Lending Act. That is 10 days. Your assistance is greatly appreciated in this matter. Notice the agent is notice to principal, and notice the principal is notice to agent. You're going to sign it, your first and last name, going to put sui juris after it, which means by one's own right. Secured party / creditor. Okay, there's no secured party creditor. It's a secured party / creditor. Holder in due course, trade name owner, record owner, sovereign. And then you're going to carbon copy the commissioner of the Social Security, principal deputy commissioner, chief of staff, chief actuary, general counsel, inspector general, deputy commissioner for finance, assessment and management / chief and financial officer, Internal Revenue Service. And then you're going to assign a personal file number. That's his name. That's the initials of his name and any other name you want to put after that. A lot of people will use that and then put the date after it or something. You can use your own convention and having file numbers for your particular documentation. Okay, so this is his own convention. You can create your own, a filing system for yourself. Just make sure that it is consistent. Subscribe and sworn on this day of blah, blah, blah. All right, Notary Public is for, and you're going to have it notarized. All right, so now here's the request for withdrawal application right here. Okay, and let's see if we can get this on here. All right, and you can see right here, put his name on there and the different appellations of his name, the social security number, the date of the application, that's his date of birth, nunc pro tunc, back to the beginning of that birth date, type of application, the SS5 form or other, and the benefit, OI, SDI, any others. Okay, now, he's going to see CC attached affidavit and certification of withdrawal. All right, you're going to check other. All right, so he has this on the back. It's supposed to be checked right here, continue on the back. Got his address, care of. You always put care of for the address and put the zip code always in brackets. All right, because anything in the box is not there. All right, so this is what goes on the back. See, it says continuation of request for withdrawal of application in box 2, which is right here. This is box 2. You're going to check this box. Okay, and it's going to continue on the reverse. So on the back of this form right here, you're going to print out this portion right here. It's one page. All right, this is one page right here. So it says, I do not desire to benefit from any contracts, franchises, agreements, covenants, hypothecations, promises, pledges, cession, beneral, bailments, transfers, and or transactions with or from the United States of America, District of Columbia, state of, and you're going to put your state in all caps, and or any of their subdivisions or representatives, all elections to be a U.S. citizen are canceled and withdrawn. All contracts and elections to be treated as United States citizens or franchise thereof are null and void. and are counseled due to non-disclosure and failure of fair consideration. See Uniform Commercial Code 1-107. Any alleged privileges and or benefits are rejected and waived. Any commercial transactions and or donations in the future will be accepted for value under necessity due to the declared emergency, the United States bankruptcy, the Trading with the Enemy Act, the Buck Act, and any other in violation of law and the rights of inhabitants and man is being compelled under coercion, fraud, duress upon the people and inhabitants evidenced upon the public record. All SS5, W2, W4, SS4, and all related contracts, pledges, oaths, affirmations, or elections abrogating my status or standing in law are unconscionable in nature and without full disclosure or discussion. Coercion was used to misinform me as to the nature of these contracts, which if they were to be enforced would constitute an act of fraud, but we have accomplice liability and depriving me of life, liberty, property, and the pursuit of happiness by the enforcing party. This request for withdrawal, Form S3, SSA and S3A 521, Social Security number, with your Social Security number right there. Employer identification number, once again, that's going to be your Social Security number without dashes. Okay, and account number. All these are the same number, just written with a dash in different places. And any and all accounts and property related thereto or therefrom or accepted for value, including all related endorsements front and back in accordance with UCC subsection 1-104, 3-419, and 10-104, and House Joint Resolution 192 of June 5th, 1933. Charge account number, and that's your Social Security number, once again without dashes, for the registration and all other necessary fees, and command the memory of account number, your Social Security number, once again without dashes, to charge the same to the debtor's order or to the order of the Social Security Administration, United States of America, Department of Health and Human Resources, or to Paul O'Neill, Secretary of the Treasury's order. And this is the current Secretary of Treasury right there, whoever that may be. All right. This and all other related property is tax exempt and exempt from levy. Please release all property, accounts, indentures, debentures, contracts, instruments, records, orders, and all related value and debt instruments immediately. The property is prepaid, and if your agency does not release the property immediately, your agency shall notify me in T times 3 days to be accompanied by a superior claim over that of the secured party as registered at the State of Washington's Department of Licensing. Now, this last paragraph right here, you're going to put your days, it's going to be T plus 3. Okay, so it's going to be like 7 plus 3 is going to give you 10 days because it's 3 days mailing, 3 days after they get it to decide what they're going to do, 3 days return mailing, and 1 day for Sunday. That's where you get your 10 days from. All right, but you can give them however long amount of time that you want. Okay, and also this State Department of Licensing, this is the UCC filing number right here you're going to put on here. Okay, yours is going to be wherever you file a UCC, the department you're going to name is whatever department in your state files the UCC1, and then you're going to put the UCC1 filing number on this particular document. This is to give them notification that there is a pre-existing claim or you have made a claim against your property. Okay, once again, this is all commercial. All crimes are commercial. Next, we have accompanying this. You always want to put together an affidavit. It's an affidavit and certification of withdrawal. So now you're filling out an affidavit attesting and affirming that everything that you're saying is true. So this constitutes actual and constructive notice. Once again, a gentleman always gives notice that I, Yusuf L. of the L family, do hereby withdraw, revoke, rescind, terminate, waive, decline, refuse, and forfeit any and all contracts, agreements, applications for Social Security benefits, and our Social Security documents, nunc pro tunc, too. And then you're going to put your date of birth. That means going back to that date, all the way back to when I came into the world. Due to fraud, non-disclosure, and failure of fair consideration. You have to have fair consideration and disclosure. You have to have people fully informed, and there has to be consideration for there to be a valid and enforceable contract in accordance with Uniform Commercial Code Article 1, subsection 107. Furthermore, for the reasons set forth upon discovery that by initiating the SS5 form and by marking the box identified as U.S. citizen, it has compelled and subjected me as a natural-born human being to the dominion of government for the promotion of their general welfare and protection for their individual as well as collective rights. It has also compelled and subjected me by not only marking the citizenship box, but also by altering the Christian appellation of my name on the application to all capital letters, thereby compelling and subjecting me to the federal government's jurisdiction, Washington, D.C., District of Columbia, or more accurately, the municipal corporation of the District of Columbia, not exceeding 10 square miles, and thereby altering my natural freeborn citizenship under Article 2, Clause 1, Subsection 1, Clause 1.5. It is further discovered that by the Social Security Administration and IRS assigning the entity account to a corporate entity, ens legis, it has left the applicant in the position of a fiduciary or a subagent and as a corporate surety or guarantor liability, and upon further investigation and analysis by using the 6209 manual, IRS to decrypt and decode the individual master or business files for said corporate entity, revealed that said entity's account describes a high level of narcotics trafficker in a non-freeze alpha condition, ongoing criminal investigation out of Puerto Rico, in which is part of the number 62 Puerto Rico Special Fund Internal Revenue, a place where I've never been. Now, I wanted this paragraph right here is very interesting because I want to show you where he is getting this from. Okay, and right here, here's the IRS 6209 decoding manual. Okay, right here for the book. I have it on my website as well. But here it is right here. A link will be down. Fam Guardian has it. You can obtain it from them. Also, you can go on Fam Guardian's website if you want to get a copy of your individual master file. This is where I used theirs off of their website. Okay, this is where I did it. I'm telling you where I get my information from. And they have a very good website. And these brothers, they have, I don't agree with everything they talk about, but they are very, very knowledgeable, very, very well researched people over there. Right here, they got software for it, sample internal revenue form used to request individual returns. Where is it? Sample, that's the decoder program. Let me see if this is it right. Yeah, this is the unsanitized one. That's the one I use. I am specific obtain. And right here, and you'll see it's going, when you get it back, that's how it's going to look. It's going to look something like that. And you're going to have to decode it. And you're going to need the 6209 decoding manual for that. But let me see. Yeah, here it is right here. This is the FOIA request right here. All right, so this is the request right here. All right, all of this, you know, you're going to do it just like that. And these are the items that you're going to request. So your first request, you're going to put in this information right here. So right here where it says, and I'm going to do a video on this because it's real simple, but you're going to use this form. And you're not going to request all these at the same time. These are different. This is one request. This is a second request. And this is the third request. You don't request all of it at the same time. It's going to be like 4 different mailings you're going to do. And you're simply going to cut and paste each one of these ones that you want. This first one right here, you'll copy that and cut and paste it. And you're going to put it right. I'm requesting copies of records in lieu of personal inspection of the requested records. And right here, as identified as follows. Right after you see this right here, you're going to copy and paste and put that paragraph right after that sentence right there. Then you're going to sign it, note it, you're going to send it certified mail, and you're going to send it off. Read this. You know, I'll do another video on this. It's a FOIA request. It's a very good FOIA request as well. All right. I might put an example down below. Okay. But yeah, this is how you get your individual master file. Now, okay. And here is some information by William Cooper. Okay. It said Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms / IRS Criminal Fraud. This is a very, very good document. I've been meaning to do a web video just, you know, just dedicated to this particular information. The forward is by Dan Meter. And you see William Cooper in here. He gets into the history of it. I mean, this is a very, very good document. He's saying how these different trusts and everything that the IRS got, who the IRS really is, and so forth. All right. And China Trade Act, narcotics, alcohol, and tobacco. And you'll see right here. And I'm just going to show you real quick. Like this right here is citizen versus citizen. 1040 for aliens. Code tells the tale. Narcotics dealer right here. When Freedom of Information Act requests have been filed for the individual master file for people who are experiencing tax problems with the IRS, every return has been found to contain the above codes, except for some which are coded as Guam returns. Every return shows that the unsuspecting citizen is being taxed on income derived from importing narcotics, alcohol, tobacco, or firearms into the United States or one of its territories or possessions from a foreign country, or from Guam, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, or into the Virgin Islands from the Cayman Islands. All right, so this is why you're asking for this individual master file. All right, so when you look in Aaron Coates' document of what he's talking about this, he said, place I've never been. He's talking about the Puerto Rico Special Fund. Okay, this particular document, which the link will be in the description, is where the information is what he's talking about. If you want to expound on what he's talking about, why you're asking for that individual master file, why you're decoding it with the 6209 decoding manual, and so forth. So it goes on, it says, being the source through the Social Security Administration and IRS by signing and altering my name to a corporate entity, an account constituting inducement to transact business and non-disclosure of material facts and legal ramifications, have also compelled and subjected the natural physical person, I'm going to put your name, to the conditions of the Corporation Tax Act of 1909, which clearly states that all income taxes are taxes on corporations and not on people in their natural physical states, but in their artificial state. In all cap name, your name in all caps right there. To further effect my withdrawal with no disrespect to the voluntary benefits only withheld for the benefits of the elderly and necessaries of that nature, which are created by pure participation. Okay, you put your name and last name again with a semicolon. And as necessaries is a word you need to understand also. All right, necessaries like for children and things like people you take care of. I personally am not desirous to participate in nor contribute to the American experiment in democracy due to the obvious antinomy between the republic guaranteed by the original organic constitution and said democracy, non-constitutional. The word democracy is nowhere in the Constitution, nowhere in the Pledge of Allegiance, or nothing. I don't even know where the word came from. And further, put your first name of the last name family, have never knowingly, intentionally, or deliberately, with full disclosure of the material facts and legal ramifications, transferred any property, security interest to the United States, state of Washington. You're going to put your state obviously right there. Its or their agencies and instrumentalities for public use, nor have I made or executed any transfer, promise, hypothecation, or assignment thereof of any right, title, or interest therein to any third person or persona while under the operation of 12 United States Code Section 95B, nor have I made any genuine or bona fide election to be treated as a citizen of the United States, defined at 28 U.S.C. Section 3002-15, or resident agent thereof, by its or their agencies or instrumentalities, notwithstanding corporate restructuring and or organization pursuant to the Act of Congress, February 21st, 1871, 16 Stat 1419. That's the incorporation of the United States right there. And have altogether removed and secured my res means thing. All right, this is the subject of a trust, from the federal, military, corporate district, and venue, including but not limited to things corporal and incorporeal, movables, integrum, res municipi, res municipi, things real and things personal, things in possession, and choose actions. I think it should be choosing actions. Res singulae, tangible and intangible, shadow paper and goods bearing my name and title, to include securing and accepting for value my application for birth registration, live birth report, and insurance of certificate of live birth, all of which is the same security as articulated in UCC Article 8, Section 103 and 105, and have accepted for value the Social Security document, all of which is recorded and registered with the United States Secretary of Treasury, the Washington State Department of Licensing, Uniform Code, Commercial Code Division, registration number, financing statement, and Washington State County Auditor's Office, and other documents in which pertain to include security agreement and addendum, affidavit of agreement for suit, affidavit of cancellation of contracts, affidavit of denial of corporate existence, which is another important one. This affidavit of denial of corporate existence, very important. Affidavit of denial of benefits, certificate of and declaration of sovereign status, oath of renunciation, notice of trade name, and etc. Whereby as a private agent to the corporate entity otherwise described as ship owner as set out in 49 Stat 1985, Title 11, 1, Title 11, I have taken the same at face value and duly filed evidencing a private maritime lien against the corporate entity, and that's going to be debtor, which is your all caps name, on account of advances and necessaries. Now, this advances and necessaries is the reason that they feel like they have interest in your property. They advances and necessaries, and I learned this by studying the clerk's praxis. Okay, advances and they are this parent. This goes back to this parent patria doctrine, where because you are a dependent, they have to provide the necessaries for you, and you owe them for this. There's a debt that you owe, and against the debtors' organization, franchise organizations, co-sureties, co-guarantors, and/or fiduciaries, agencies, and instrumentalities by priority and right of indemnification as to any and all debts, duties, claims, charges, or encumbrances by the United States of America, by the United States, state of, you're going to put your state, it or their agents, employees, officers, representatives, trustees, and fiduciaries situated within the 50 de jure states comprising the Union under color of Title 12 U.S.C. Section 95B, October 6, 1917, et sec. House Joint Resolution 192 of June 5, 1933, stemming from Presidential Proclamation number 2039 of March 6 and 2040 of March 9, 1933. Further, I do not desire to contribute to or with the existence of corporate fictions created to immunize its officers, agents, employees, trustees, and fiduciaries from liability. And that's what they all doing. They all avoiding liability by hiding behind these corporations. And that's why you play the same game they play. Or responsibility by passing the same onto the shoulders of a non-existent fiction of law, ends legions, such as the United States, state of Washington, it or their agencies and instrumentalities under a contrived national emergency. What do you think we're going through right now? A contrived national emergency, allowing inland privateering. That's what's going to happen with this House Bill 66666, and repeated Hobbs Act violations, larceny, violating Title 18 U.S.C. Section 1951, 1962 of June 25, 1948, Clause 645, 62 Stat 793, September 13, 1994, Public Law 103-322, Title 30, Section 330016, 1L 108 Stat 2147, in which I have every right to withhold giving a lien upon or against my property and interest therein, UCC Article 9, Section 2043, and to withhold registering, licensing, or otherwise encumbering said property and interest therein to protect the same from factors' liens, warehouseman liens, or from becoming a lieni juris by and through a maritime lien against the same or anything relating or pertaining to as evidenced within my security agreement. All right, and this is basically, in layman's terms, you protecting your property from liens. As I said, everything is running off liens. All right, when you get a charge is a lien, because that is how money is created. There is no money. So how they are privateering and stealing money from you is by putting liens against property. This is how they're stealing from you. Okay, notwithstanding Senate document number 4373, Congress, first session, March 9, 1933, treaty document number 97-19, February 17, 1950, at page 494, nor Council of State Governors presumed acts of pledging all property within their jurisdiction and control for want of a consideration to lawfully acquire title thereto. And, they pledged all the property in the United States. They pledged all, without our permission. And that's what he's saying. I didn't give you no permission to pledge our property for some debt. All was arbitrary and capricious and without authority of law according to the Libra Code, which discloses that the rules of property are not displaced by proclamation of a court-contrived national emergency over a bankrupt nation on account of acquiescence to passage of the Federal Reserve Bank Act of December 23, 1913, Section 2, Chapter 6, codified in Title 12, United States Code, Section 411. And he called it acquiescence because they passed that act where a lot of people were at home on Christmas. To accept, receive, hold, and dispose of hypothecations of the people of the 50 states comprising the Union of America, ultimately amounting to treason, sedition, peonage. Peonage is putting you in slavery for money, and involuntary servitude against the people and myself. Ultimately, is the duty of the Social Security Administration to acknowledge this notice of withdrawal and any other notices and or correspondences that have and that have and am providing that they or the IRS has no quasi in rem, secret maritime in rem, transitory in personam jurisdiction over your all caps name, surname, my raise on the erroneous presumption of res derelicta, abandonment of property, security interest. By further doing so will constitute libellous and slanderous assumptions of jurisdiction, which is what they're doing. They're assuming jurisdiction over you, power and authority, and the written and unwritten policy of said actors is continuing to interfere with the private commercial activity, namely exercise of my right of property, without said corporate commercial venue and without indenture, operation or application of any causa divinity, statute, code, or regulation, mala prohibita, do continue to perpetuate a criminal fraud, artifice, scheme, or enterprise against my all caps name under color of Title 50 United States Code, application sections, applicable sections 1 through 6, 7 through 39, and 41 through 44, and the Trading with the Enemy Act of October 6, 1917, Chapter 106, 40, Stat 411, amounting to the before mentioned above, motivated by the invidious economic animus of a bankrupt threatened with the loss of security for the benefit of its principal creditor. Okay, that was a lot of fancy language. But it was very colorful that you don't have to do all of that fancy language like that of what he's saying. But basically, to put it in layman's terms, he's saying that they are basically infringing on the Constitution, basically just totally ignoring it. Okay, under some sort of presumption that you have agreed to be their slave. All right, now a very, very, very good study for you to do will be to look up every word that was just stated in that paragraph until you get a thorough understanding. Helping you understand this paragraph will help you understand the entire document. In closing, I would also like to point out upon discovery that without disclosure or discussion, I was coerced into believing I could not work without having and retaining a social security number and without filling out a W-4 form. Okay, now you also see that I've also did a video on the Trading with the Enemy Act. I did a video on this also. Can you work without a social security number? Now remember, this was done in 2002 now. In closing, I would like to also point out that on discovery that without disclosure or discussion, I was coerced in believing I could not work without having and retaining a social security number and without filling out a W-4 form. But upon discovery, to withhold state income taxes under Title 5 U.S.C. Section 5517A1, it provides for the collection of tax by employers. If any employee voluntarily elects to have such sums withheld, I do not believe I've ever made that agreement. Under 26 U.S.C. Section 6109, I can't tell that NC, it only requires an employer to request a social security number from an employee, not demand one. And that's that letter that I put out, the video I made. You can see right now it's popping up on the screen. You can click on it and go and check that out. Also under 26 Code of Federal Regulations, subsection 31.3402P1, voluntary withholding agreements, it provides an employee and his employer may enter into an agreement under section 3402B to provide for withholding of income tax. Then we look at B2, which says an employee who desires to enter into an agreement under section 3402P shall furnish his employer with a form W-4. So it's voluntary. All of which was never done or agreed upon, at least with regards to my behalf and with my consent, with full disclosure of the material facts set forth creating fraud. And honestly, I do not believe I personally ever filled out any W-4 forms for employers with the past, insert your number, years I've worked, how many years you worked. And under the Privacy Act of 1974, 88 Stat, 1896, Section 781, I am not required to furnish a social security number to any federal, state, or local government agency. Nevertheless, respectfully, notice has and is given to all appropriate agencies pursuant to 26 Code of Federal Regulations, section, I can't tell that section number, as to my status as an American citizen, and citizen should be capitalized, a C, and my property, along with a termination of fiduciary relationship, and this constitutes official, non-negotiable notice of the to the Social Security Administration, it or their agents and principals, that I fully and respectfully withdraw my application and/or instruments, documents, nunc-pro-tunc. 2, put your birth date there, and fully expect repayment of any and all benefits paid on the applications. I want withdrawn whether or not all records will remain for recording or identification purposes. If for any reason the Social Security Administration disputes and needs any documents pertaining to my registered property or any affidavits registered upon request, they will accordingly be provided. I, Yusuf Suri, jurist of the L family, do certify that the contents herein are true, correct, certain, and complete under the penalty of perjury, bearing false witness to help, so help me God. It should be so help me God. I, Yusuf Suri, jurist for the jurist family, I make explicit reservation of all rights in accordance with UCC 1-207, which is now UCC 1-308. All right, and still 1-207 in some states, a very few states. They may have all changed over to 1308 now. And then you're going to sign it and date it and have it notarized. And of course, you're going to carbon copy it and send it to these agencies. Now, this information is the information he puts in, the right to refuse Social Security number. He's giving you all the laws and everything that he was talking about in there. And this is a notice of declaration and certificate of sovereign status. Some people, you want to put your nationality documents right here. You don't have to do it like this. You can, it's all the same. Everything is the same principle, but people are using different methodology. So when people always ask me, well, can I change my nationality? Well, yes, you can, and you can incorporate it in here. And this is where this would go. Okay, letting them know what your status is. Formal, and this is an oath and renunciation. This right here renounces U.S. citizenship, not American citizenship. I might do a video on all these. And you have a Declaration of Independence. People have asked me about a Declaration of Independence. That is in here as well. Now, I want you to see that there are people out doing webinars. Somebody said, well, I undermined someone who was on high frequency radio because they did a webinar on rescission of the Social Security number. Well, the thing was, you took the information for somebody else and didn't give them credit. And I have a problem with that. I got a problem with it. A lot of people do that. A lot of people put out information and don't give credit to where they got the information from. And to me, you're scum, you're lowlifes, because anyone can come up with their own stuff because this information is supposed to build on each other. So you're supposed to take this information and build upon it. Not just copy it or rearrange it and put it out and try to sell it to somebody. So quite honestly, I don't care if I pissed you off. I don't care. I don't care if you don't like me. I don't care. That's your problem. You got to go to bed with that at night, not me. I don't give a fuck. If I hurt your feelings, I don't care. You see what's going on in the world today? You think somebody has time to care about somebody who got hurt feelings about something? Grow a pair of nuts and get over it. Anyway, peace to all the gods and goddesses. I hope this helps. Leave some comments down in the comment section. More videos to come later on. Peace.